Alysa Liu was not even inside the Milano ice skating arena 10 minutes before the most important performance of her life when a vice presidential motorcade had completely paralyzed the ancient streets of Milan, leaving the United States national champion trapped in gridlock while her fiercest rivals were already inside, lacing up and running their final edge checks on the Olympic ice. When she finally burst through those arena doors with literally minutes to spare, she did not hyperventilate, she did not panic, she did not show any visible sign that the situation was objectively the worst possible scenario any elite athlete could face before a championship performance. She was laughing, and she laced her skates in a blur and stepped directly into the Olympic spotlight without touching the 6-minute warm-up session that every other competitor in the field had used to acclimate to the ice conditions. The short program she delivered in that state, with zero warm-up, zero preparation, and the chaos of Italian traffic fresh in her mind, was so intensely joyful and radiantly brilliant that it silenced every critic in the building. And when she landed her double axel with a slight wobble and flashed a bemused, totally unbothered expression at the judges, rather than the terrified, apologetic look the sport always expects after an error, she told reporters afterward it was just an oopsie. That oopsie was not a quirky deflection from a technical mistake. It was a manifesto broadcast to millions of people. It was the signal that the Alysa Liu standing on Olympic ice in Milan in 2026 was a fundamentally different human being from the broken teenager who vanished into the shadows 4 years earlier. And the most revolutionary thing about it was that an athlete treating a championship mistake with casual amusement rather than devastation turned out to be the most powerful thing anyone did at the entire Winter Games. To understand the full scale of what she accomplished by arriving late and laughing, you have to go back to the girl who broke every record the American figure skating establishment had to offer before she was old enough to drive, who became the youngest U.S. national champion in history at 13 by shattering a record Tara Lipinski had held for 22 years, and who was landing triple axels in international competition at 12 years old while being described as the chosen one who would save American women's skating from Russian dominance. Behind the sequin dresses and the permanent plastered-on smile, she was trapped in a world of 5 a.m. alarms, bone-chilling morning ice sessions, homeschooling in the back seat of a car stuck in California traffic, complete isolation from normal peers, and the 24-hour scrutiny of internet message boards that dissected her every jump, her every meal, and her every physical change as she went through puberty in front of strangers who felt entitled to an opinion on all of it. By the time she reached the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics at 16, she was a shell, landing joint-crushing jumps for a sport she had come to genuinely loathe, finishing 6th on the world's biggest stage, while internally counting the seconds until she could take her skates off for the last time. And just weeks after securing a World Championships bronze medal that any other athlete would have built an entire career on, she announced her retirement, and the entire figure skating world went into shock. For almost 2 full years, her custom-made skates collected dust in a closet she admitted she could not locate for the longest time because she genuinely did not care if they rotted there. And she spent that time trekking to Everest Base Camp, taking unstructured road trips with friends who did not know the difference between a Salchow and a Lutz, enrolling at UCLA, eating without nutrition monitoring, and living what she openly called her best life, with platinum raccoon stripe hair and a smiley piercing she had given herself. The return happened not because any federation called or any coach offered a contract, but because a casual ski trip in early 2024 put cold wind on her face and the adrenaline of speed in her system, and she realized mid-run down the mountain that she did not hate ice. She missed the dopamine hit of flying. She hated the toxic, suffocating system that had surrounded skating, not the skating itself, and that distinction changed everything. She quietly went to a local public rink surrounded by toddlers and weekend hobbyists just to see if her body remembered the movements, laced up worn-out boots, stroked down the ice, went up for a double axel, landed it perfectly, and in that single moment the comeback was decided.
except this time she established non-negotiable terms before anyone was allowed to be part of it, which were that she would choose her own music, her own costumes, and her own training schedule, and coaches would function as equal partners rather than authorities. At the 2025 World Championships in Boston, when the entire international narrative was focused on
During the Olympic team event earlier in the Milan Games, despite the motorcade chaos and zero physical warm-up time, Alysa drove the entire American squad with infectious electric energy, secured critical momentum-shifting points with a spectacular second-place short program finish, and celebrated the team gold so aggressively that her heavy gold medal snapped off its official ribbon and slammed into the arena floor, getting scratched and dented in a way that Olympic officials immediately tried to fix by offering her a pristine replacement from storage. She refused the replacement, told the bewildered officials she liked the medal better broken, felt deeply attached to its imperfections because the dented, battered, scratched piece of gold perfectly reflected her own career arc. And that moment of choosing the authentic, damaged version over the perfect, pristine one went viral immediately because millions of people watching at home recognized that Alysa Liu had just described her entire life in one completely unscripted decision. On February 19, 2026, for the individual women's free skate that was the climax of the entire Winter Games, while rivals from Japan and South Korea paced nervously backstage, staring at the floor and crumbling under the institutional weight of their national federations, Alysa was sitting in the warm-up area holding a Pochita plushie from Chainsaw Man, eating udon noodles, and chatting with her coaches about favorite television shows like Someone Killing Time before a movie. She stepped onto the ice to Donna Summer's MacArthur Park suite in a shimmering gold dress, exhaled a long, deep breath at center ice that the entire arena could feel, landed 7 triple jumps with buttery, effortless flow that earned massive bonus points from the judges, made eye contact with the front rows between elements instead of staring at the panel, and by the time BBC commentators noted live on air that she looked like she was having the absolute time of her life, everyone watching already knew the outcome before the scores appeared. Her free skate score of 150.2 brought her total to 226.79, vaulted her from third to first, made her the first American woman to win individual Olympic gold since Sarah Hughes in 2002, ended a 24-year national drought that had outlasted multiple generations of federation strategy and millions of dollars in athlete development, and delivered the definitive